Hello and welcome to another Every Tuesday tutorial. In this week's tutorial, we're creating watercolor cacti entirely in Procreate. So what you see on screen is exactly what we're going to be creating together. We've got an Indian fig cactus and then two versions of a saguaro cactus. The color palette to this project is free as always, so just tap in the link in the video description. You can download and install it. The brushes that we're using for this project are my watercolor illustration brushes. I'll leave a link in the video description to those as well. I'm going to create a brand new canvas that is 1500 pixels by 1500 pixels at 300 dpi. Okay, I've got my canvas all set and ready to go, and the first cactus that we're going to draw is our Indian fig cactus. So I'm going to grab my orange color. We're going to begin with the planter first. So the top of my planter is going to be this middle color right in the second row. And I'm going to turn on my drawing guide. That way I can keep everything kind of similarly sized as we work along. So I'm going to hit drawing guide, turn it on, hit edit drawing guide. I'm going to reduce my grid size to about 50 pixels. I can put that in exactly right here. And I'm going to make it a little bit darker so you can see it better on screen. Hit done. So for my first pot, this little planter, I'm just going to draw a line across. This is my medium round paintbrush for my watercolor illustration set, but if you'd like to change up the style, you can use any brushes that you would like. I'm going to switch to my darker kind of rust orange color and keep my medium paint round and draw the rest of the pot right underneath it. Okay, I'm going to move this down a little bit, kind of far over there. Okay, so for our Indian fig cactus, let me create a brand new layer. I'm going to grab this very first green color right here. I still have my medium paint round selected, and I'm going to start by drawing a half oval right here. And with these brushes, you just want to make sure you keep your stylus down until you finish painting your shape. And then we can move on to the next shape. This one's going to be similar. It's just going to be a little bit longer. And then we'll draw another one up at the top that's a little more straight on. Draw another one over here. And then one right here and one right here. Now we can draw in the little spikes that these have, and a really fun and easy way to do that is to grab your eraser and then grab your heavy paint round brush, and we're just going to put little dots all over it. Let me make the size a little bit smaller. I'm coming down to about 3%. Okay, create a brand new layer, and these ones are going to be our little spikes. So grab your second color, and I'm going to grab my round liner brush for this. We're just going to draw in little spikes. My size is 3% for this. And I'm going to draw a line on each of these that points in a different direction. Okay, and then the last thing we're going to do is paint some flowers on here. If it's feeling a little muted, like you can't see the green super well, mine is feeling just a little softer than I would like it to be. So in order to fix that, all you have to do is navigate to your cactus layer, drag it over to the left, choose duplicate, and that will darken everything up. I'm going to do the exact same thing with my little spikes. And there we go. I'm going to paint in my flowers now, so create a brand new layer. I'm going to grab my pink color first and grab my medium paint round brush. And draw petal, draw petal, draw petal. And then I'm going to switch to my middle color right here. So I've got a little bit of orange to tie the pot into it. So that one is all set, so we can group everything together and label this one Indian fig. All right, if I turn off my guides just so we can see it a little bit better, let's see how that looks. I think I want my duplicated layer to be just a little bit lighter. That seems just a little too dark, so I'm just going to reduce the opacity down to like 40% on that one. And that feels good. It's darker, but not too dark. And I'm also going to duplicate my, my planter down here, the pot, and that feels better too. Okay, so now we can move on to our first saguaro cactus. So this is kind of the typical cactus shape that you normally see. So I'm going to create a brand new layer. We're going to start with a pot first. So I'm going to grab my gray color right here. I'm going to turn my guidelines back on so I can keep everything similar in size, and return to my medium paint round brush. This one's just going to be a little bit taller of a planter. Okay, and then up at the top lip, I'm just going to make this a little bit darker. create a brand new layer. We're going to grab the third green color right here. I'm going to draw that first shape straight up and then down. Okay, and then I'm going to draw the little arms that come up off of it. That typical cactus shape. In order to paint the lines on your cactus, all you have to do is keep the exact same colors selected, same exact brush, and when you draw over top of it, it will naturally get darker because these brushes were programmed to simulate wet on dry technique, so it makes it naturally a little bit darker. Every time you lift up your stylus and paint on top of it, it's just going to get darker and darker. So I'm going to have one right there. I'm going to paint a stripe on this side. And another stripe on this side. And then I'll draw stripes on the arms as well. And if you ever want them darker, just lift up your stylus and then go over them again, and that will darken them up. I'm going to add in some just plain old white spikes to this one. Instead of adding the extra spikes, we're just going to keep them white on this one. So come to your eraser once again. I'm going to use my round liner for this one. And just draw these in. Let me make this a little bit larger. I'm going to go to 6% for these. Okay, I just realized that my cactus is just a little to the right in my pot and I want it to move over a little bit. So I'm just going to drag it over just slightly so it's a little more centered. And then this one's all set. So I'm going to group these layers together, label this one Saguaro 1, and we're on to our last one. So I'm going to create a brand new layer. We're going to start with the pot again. And for this one, I'm going to grab the lighter gray color. I'm going to use my medium paint round brush. And this one's going to be kind of similar in size to this one, but it's going to be wider. I'm going to paint the top part a little dark so it looks like it's opened up. And then to add a little decoration to the bottom, I'm going to add a stripe of color, so create a brand new layer. I'm going to grab this teal color, so it's the fourth one up at the top, and just give it a dark teal band at the very bottom. Now we're going to draw our cactus, so create a brand new layer. We're going to grab this green at the very end of the top row. This one's going to be similar to our first saguaro, only it's going to be skinnier and it's going to have more arms. So I'm going to start this one, come all the way up, and keep it nice and skinny. So for the arms on this one, these ones have arms that go all the way around it, and they're different lengths and widths, so you can draw them however you would like, and it's okay if they overlap each other too. Okay, this is looking a little light to me, so in order to darken it up, all you have to do is duplicate your layer, and then I'm going to reduce the opacity of this one down to like 60%. Okay, so the last thing we need to do is just add some lines onto this one, so create a brand new layer. I'm going to grab my teal color again, return to my round liner brush, go up to like 8%. Okay, we can turn off our guides and let's group the second saguaro together, label it, and I'm going to select all these and move them a little bit closer to the center. Looks like my last one needs to be nudged this way just a little bit. And there we go. That's how to create watercolor cacti entirely in Procreate. Once again, the link to the free color palette as well as those watercolor illustration brushes are right in the video description, so just tap in there and you can have access to both of those. If you enjoyed this tutorial, please hit the like button, subscribe, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you can be notified of new tutorials just like this one in the future. For more Procreate tutorials and freebies, head on over to my site, every-tuesday.com. You can also find me over on Instagram. My handle is everytuesday. If you try this out and post it there, I would love it if you tag me. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you next week.